In this story, Jesus performs a pretty amazing miracle, and he does it in a really unusual way. This man was born blind. He had never seen the face of another person or even the light of day. And even though we don't know exactly why Jesus takes mud and spreads it over the man's eyes, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, we do read that God formed man from the dust of the earth. So this may be a reminder of the creative activity of God. And while we don't know why Jesus did this miracle in this way, we do know that the blind man's life was dramatically transformed. We also learn some important truths about sickness and suffering and struggle. The first thing we see is that sickness and struggle are not always a result of sin. On one level, the sin of the world is ultimately why we all suffer. But Jesus clearly teaches here that on another level, personal sin is not the cause of personal sickness and suffering. We should never assume that people who are sick are being punished for personal sin. The second thing that we see is we also learn that God may allow struggle and pain in our lives to give him the opportunity to show his power and his goodness. God can receive glory from his redemptive work in our mess, the mess of our lives. The third thing is that God will use his work in our lives to point others toward Jesus. When we see his light and recognize his power and have hope only he can give, we can share God's light. We can share his truth with those around us. When people know that God has opened up our eyes, our spiritual eyes, they will want to know how this happened. And this will open up the doors for us to share our story. So I encourage you today as you walk out your life in the gospel, as you walk out the word and you meditate on his word, that you would be blessed.